is our love made perfect.
Here's our love made perfect, that what?
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world.
See, herein is love made perfect, that we can have boldness in the day of judgment. Why? Because we putting everything aside and we going to focus on fearing God and keeping his commandments. So we can have boldness. Then he said, because as he is, so are we in the world. Talking about Jesus. So first of all, let's see how Jesus was in the world. Because people say, well, what would Jesus do? Well, let's see if he would have feared God. Let's go to Hebrews, the 5th chapter. Let's see how he was in the world. Jesus was disliked in the world for one thing, and he told us, the servant is not above his Lord. If they hated me, they're going to hate you. If they call me Beelzebub, what you think they're going to call you? He told you that. But through all of that, let's see how he was in the world when it pertains to fearing God. Let's see if he had some fear of God. Because you know if Jesus feared, now if didn't nobody have to fear, you know Jesus wouldn't fear, right? But if you're going to be like Jesus, then you're going to be like he was. Let's see how he was in the world. Hebrews 5 and verse 5. Hebrews 5 and 5. Go ahead.
So also Christ glorified not himself to be made a high priest.
Go ahead.
But he that said unto him, thou art my son. Today have I begotten thee.
See now, Christ wasn't trying to exalt himself. He let the Father exalt him. Go ahead.
As he said also in another place, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
See, he got it directly from the Father. The Father already said that he was a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Now let's see what Christ did when he became a flesh and blood man, though. Go ahead, verse 7.
Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death.
See, this is when Jesus was about to die. You read Matthew 26, he was praying and crying and sweating, going through a thing. So in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death. What happened?
And was heard in that he feared.
Oh, he was heard in that he did what?
Feared.
In that he feared. So Christ feared. That's how he was in the world. If we gonna be like him, we will fear. Now, obviously he didn't fear man. He didn't fear what man could do to him because he allowed them to do it. In other words, he feared God above that. He chose to fear God over the fear of man. And that's what he's telling us to do. But go ahead, verse 8.
Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
Verse 9.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obeyed him.
See, now he learned obedience, it said, by what he went through. See, he still kept the fear of God. When whatever he went through, he put God first. He didn't get mad at God because he went through something too. Now, he kept the fear of God at the forefront because that is the beginning of wisdom. That's why I said earlier, the fear of the Lord is beginning. He even told you in Isaiah 11 that Christ, it was a prophecy of Christ, that he was made a quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. So it said, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all that obey him. Now let's go to Luke, the 12th chapter. Let's see what Christ said himself about this matter. We saw that he feared. So if we're going to be like him, we will fear. But let's see exactly what he told us if we need to fear. Let's see if we can really replace love with fear in the Bible. Luke 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Luke 12 and verse 4. Okay, go ahead.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear.
Go ahead.
Fear him, which after he have killed, have power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him.
Now that's real clear, isn't it? You don't even have to try to figure out what he's saying. Whereas people just misconstrue what Paul was saying in 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter, and in 1 John, what John was saying. People just misconstrue it to say you don't have to fear God. You don't need no type of interpretation of this. Jesus said at verse 4, I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body. So in other words, he's telling you exactly what Paul said, right? He said, look, don't be ashamed. Don't get caught up in fear. That you shouldn't be, God haven't given us the spirit of fear, right? But of a sound mind and love. So he's telling you the same thing. Don't fear what man gonna do to you. He tell you point blank. Be not afraid of them that kill the body. Now that's a big statement. See, you have to be told that and reminded that. You have to be reminded that. That's why we have to warn people about the great tribulation, what's coming on this world. That they can be aware of it. And that some people going to have to give their life up, like it says. And you got some foolish brothers talking about the great tribulation where it's been going on since Israel in captivity. That's foolishness. Israel been in some tribulation, but it ain't been great tribulation. Great tribulation is not going to start to the last 3.5 years of this world. When the man of sin moved into the temple in Jerusalem. That's when it's going to start. So, but if you don't warn people that, nobody will be prepared for that. Jesus was warning us right here, wasn't he? He said, I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that they have no more that they can do. So he said, look, don't be afraid. Don't fear these people. But then read verse 5 again. Let's see if it's somebody else that we do need to fear. Verse 5.
But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear.
Now, Jesus said point blank, I'm going to tell you who you need to fear now. You need to fear the one that got all the power. Somebody might have a little power over your body and can even put you to death. Like Brother Nehemiah said, you can be dead any moment. Your life can end just like that. The Bible says your life is a vapor. Just like that, it'll be snuffed out. So, hey, he telling you, don't worry about that. Put your attention in fearing God. Because we all know if we don't live to the Lord, because we're going to die anyway, right? So what's the answer to death? Fearing God. Because he's going to wake you up and he's going to either give you a good reward if you've done good, or he's going to give you a terrible reward if you've done bad. So now, he said, but I will forewarn you of whom ye shall fear. Who is it? Finish verse 5.
Fear him, which after he have killed have power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him.
See, that's talking about God, right? So now Jesus is telling us to fear God, and we let some preacher tell us we don't have to fear God no more. Somebody is sadly mistaken. Who are you going to listen to? You going to listen to Jesus telling you you still need to fear, or you going to listen to some false prophet telling you replace fear with love everywhere in the Bible? You got to make up your mind. He said, but I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he have killed. God can kill you in this life, then he can wake you up and he's going to put you in the fire if you don't get it right. So death is not even the worst of your problems. The first death isn't. God got something extra. He got an extra incentive to make you fear him. Isn't that something? He said, just in case you don't fear dying the first time, I got a second one for you that's going to last forever. Fear him which after he had killed have power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, do what? Fear him. Jesus said fear him. I think we need to listen, don't you? Let's go to 1 Peter 3. See, Peter understood. He hung around Jesus. Paul understood. Like I said, they just misconstrued what Paul said. They just misconstrued it. Like they mess up 1 John 4, where he said perfect love casted out fear. Right, perfect love for God will cast out the fear that you have for man, your friends, and your family. And when you knew in the word, that's when you would have a tendency, because you still got that old nature where you worried about what people think. and you start keeping what the Bible says. Look, you believing in the Bible that everybody got. You believe in the Bible, and you halfway scared to even tell somebody sometimes, because you know they believe in totally opposite. But you got all the ammunition. That's why it didn't take me long. See, a lot, like when I was driving the truck on my job, a lot of them, they might have thought, even one guy, one of my supervisors, he became supervisor later, he said, man, I seen you on TV. I ain't never seen you talk that much. I didn't know you. Man. He was amazed. He was a Hispanic brother. He said, man, I ain't never, but see, that might have fooled some people because I wasn't saying a whole lot to people because I was at work. It wasn't time for that. So that might have fooled them. One time I drove home with a brother, and I ended up preaching to him a little bit. So he called himself. He didn't want to listen because he wanted to keep eating pork, which he started making fun about eating pork too later on. But I was showing him pork was unclean. He shouldn't eat it. Showing him Christmas was a sin. You shouldn't celebrate Christmas. So I guess he figured, you know, I was kind of ashamed. Like Paul said, don't be ashamed. Because I wouldn't just say nothing to everybody and in the open. So probably a few days later, we waiting to start work, drinking coffee in the break room, and they talking about the Christmas party. And I ain't even so ashamed. Well, I'm going to leave. I stand there and listen to them talk about it. I'm drinking coffee while they talking about the Christmas party. So he looked over there and saw me. He going to put me on Front Street in front of everybody so he think like I'm going to be ashamed. Oh, no. He said, oh, yeah. Now, ain't no reason for him to say this. Oh, yeah, you don't celebrate Christmas, do you? Because I didn't preach to him a few days ago. I said, no, I don't. I said, I wouldn't be caught dead at y'all Christmas party. And all of them looked up. Just because I wasn't saying nothing, I wasn't ashamed. Matter of fact, I'd be waiting on the opportunity. Go ahead. I wish you would. But now, so that's what he's telling us. Don't be ashamed of the testimony, and fearing God will allow you to do that. You fear God above everybody is what he's telling you. 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse 12. 1 Peter 3 and verse 12. Okay, go ahead.
For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
See, this is what you can count on. Whatever you're dealing with, you know the Lord see it, and the Lord can take care of you in any situation. Because the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, ears are open unto their prayer, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Go ahead, verse 13.
And who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of that which is good?
See, he said, look, you don't have to worry about somebody harming you. Even if God let them, it's just because he's going to get them in the end. And you're going to get a good resurrection if you die doing God's will. If you suffer for doing his will. Go ahead, verse 14.
But, and if ye suffer for righteousness'
sake. See, that's a chance. Go ahead.
Happy are ye. And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled.
See what he's telling you not to fear? Don't have nothing to do with not fearing God, do it. He said, look, don't worry about nobody doing nothing to you because you got the one with all the power on your side. He said, but nevertheless, if you do have to suffer for righteousness' sake, you should be happy. And don't be afraid. In other words, again, don't fear their terror. Because we're going to go through some stuff in these last days that will make you want to fear very easily. And that's the Great Tribulation. The man talks about you won't even be able to buy or sell. You won't be able to do nothing unless you acknowledge this man. And if you acknowledge this man, God say, oh, you fear him above me, I'm putting you in hell fire. That's what I like to say. That's between a rock and a hard place. But you got to choose the rock. God is the rock. So he said, now, don't be afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. Verse 15, but who should you fear? Don't fear them, but on the other hand, verse 15.
But sanctify the Lord God in your heart.
Oh, set the Lord apart in your heart. Let him be the one you concerned about.